Yogatōn Friday. All right, we're gonna start down on the mat. We'll be doing a fair amount of glute work today. So I have one of each set of weights. I have a small, medium, and light. I have 3, 5, and 10. You can use 0 weights as always. You could also just use one set of weights. You can double up when we do heavier weights, whatevs. And then I have a resistance band. This is I think it's the strongest weight resistance. But again, it can be whatever you've got. These are really inexpensive and portable and lightweight, so they're, I think, a good investment. So go ahead and come on down to your backs. And just give yourself a stretch out. So we don't tend to do much of a warm up or cool down because this is only a 30-minute class. So yeah, just give yourself a stretch so that your muscles aren't icy cold. And then place those feet on the mat, hips distance apart, knees are parallel, pull the belly button in, pressing that low back into the mat, palms on the mat, roll the shoulders down and back, chin towards chest. And so our little warm up is just going to be some moving bridges. So as you inhale, lifting the hips and the pelvis, squeezing up to that shoulder bridge, thighs stay parallel. And as you exhale, lowering back down. So just a couple more times, inhale, tilt up, all the way up. Exhale to lower back down. Option to add the arms into this so you can reach those arms up overhead, opening up through the shoulders. If you have any shoulder issues, just be a little bit careful there. Inhale to press up. Exhale to release. Couple more times. And our last one. Wherever you are, just finish which one you're on. And then hug your right knee into your chest, extend your left leg long. Maybe work that leg through the hip socket, just making some circles each direction a couple of times. And switching sides, hug that left leg in, push the right leg away, and make some circles with that leg a couple of times each direction. Great. All right, so I am going to go ahead and put on that resistance band. I'm also going to have my weights by my side. So I'm taking my 2 heavier weights and putting them on either side of me, and then I've got my medium 5-pound weights, and I'm going to put them on either side of me so that they are ready to go. And I'm going to put this up there. So you want it above your knees. Could be anywhere on your thighs. Fairly close to your knees is probably a bit better. But not on your knees. Okay, so bring those feet fairly close to the glutes, belly button pulled in, and I'm going to take a 10-pound weight and I'm going to put that on my hips. And when we're going to lift up to that same shoulder bridge we just did, and then we're going to lower back down. So with that resistance band, the alternative to a resistance band is you could put something between your legs, so you're having to squeeze your legs. That's working your inner thighs as opposed to your outer. And then, of course, again, you can do this with nothing. And if you don't have a weight or a heavy book or something for your hip and pelvis area, you could actually just press your hands and use your own strength to just create some resistance. Just anything to add to it. And if you're doing none of those things, it's just pressing up against gravity and then actually resisting on the way down so that you're not just flopping down. Good, and then go ahead and come up, and now we're just going to do little pulses. So it's literally just, you're basically at your highest point, and then you're just squeezing, really squeezing the gluteal muscles, squeeze the bum cheeks together to lift yourself up just a little higher. And because your gluteals are such strong muscles, that's why this added resistance is really good. A little bit of extra weight really makes the glutes work. And we do quite a lot of reps of them, which also is going to help tone that bottom of yours. A few more times. And then option, staying here on the flat feet, or if you want to come up onto the balls of your feet and just continuing to pulse. It's a nice stretch of your feet. It's also going to get into your calves. And it just changes ever so slightly where it's working in your gluteal muscles. So I'm definitely starting to feel this. Remember, it's a little movement. We started going all the way down, all the way up, but this is just little tiny movements. Come up and hold. Lower the feet down. You can leave the weight there or you can take it off. Bring your feet together, and now we're going to open up the legs and squeeze together. Now it's really easy to drop in your hips here. Really try to keep the hips and pelvis lifted as we open and hold and close. Open and hold and close. So again, this can be done without the resistance band. You just press using your own body's resistance. Just, we're not flopping the legs in and out. It's definitely intentional. And keep lifting up. I always notice that I'll have dropped an inch and it's like, no, keep lifting. And that hold is really important too, especially if you're using the resistance band, because it wants to snap your legs back together. So if you hold out there, you really work that static work. Couple more times. I'm not counting even a little bit. Sometimes they pretend to count. I have no idea how many we're doing. I usually do kind of like 20 to 50 of each one, so it's probably what we're doing. All right, let's open, lift the hips, and then make little pulses. Just little squeeze out, and oh my word, I'm feeling this. Squeezing out, 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 out. So this Yogatōn class, we definitely do core work, and it tends to be like core and arms. So like abs, glutes, arms. We're gonna do a little bit of chest work today. Sometimes we do the back. It's pretty focused. Okay, that's enough of those. Bring the legs back together. Separate the feet back to hips distance. Keep the hips lifted. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch out, and I'm actually gonna put my 2 5-pound weights on my hips. I wanna use my 10-pound weights for this arm work, but you might instead wanna just keep a 10-pound or heavier weight here, and maybe you just use 5-pound weights or lighter weights here. We're gonna do chest work, and your chest can be fairly strong, your pectoral muscles, so that's why I'm using a slightly heavier. But definitely use the weight that is appropriate for you, and maybe that's 5 pounds, okay? So elbows are just below the shoulders, not quite at shoulder level on the mat. We're lifting our hips up, and we push those weights up. I like to do a rotation of the wrist, and then rotate back, and then back down to the mat. So it's a press up, rotate. If that rotation bothers you in any way, then just skip that, just press and hold. But I like to get that little bit of extra shoulder work. And again, keeping the hips lifted, whether or not you have weight on them. So I've got 10 pounds right now sitting on my hips, and I'm pressing up 10 and 10. But you could do whatever combination works for you, or none. Or take some water bottles and fill them with sand, or water, or rocks. You can make your own sets of weights. You could put your kids that are doing homeschooling and give them the project if they have to make evenly weighted weights, so you have 2 of each set. You can be recycling and science at the same time. Let's do 3 and 2. Last one. Lower those down, gently place those on the mat. Lower your hips down onto the mat, place those weights down on the mat. Give yourself a little hug and a little rock from side to side. Releasing that. All right, we are gonna come over onto our side. No, you know what, I'm gonna give your abs a break for a second. I mean, your glutes a break, we're gonna do abs. You can leave the band on or take it off, it's up to you. I'm gonna have a 5-pound weight handy, but I'm gonna work up to it. So we're gonna do Pilates roll-ups. So I'm gonna do 1 modified, 1 full, and then add the weight. You decide which version you wanna do, all right? So we're gonna start down on the mat. Feet are gonna be on the mat, knees bent. Arms are straight up from shoulders. The band is not really doing anything here. It's just to not take it off because we'll use it again. Take an inhale. Exhale to roll up. Extend the legs. Spine stretch forward. So it's a rounded spine, belly button pulling in. Arms reaching forward. Sit up tall, bend the knees, inhale, exhale, belly button pulls in, and we roll down 1 vertebra at a time. That's option 1. Option 2, legs are extended the whole time. This is harder. Inhale, exhale to roll up. Same thing, spine stretch forward, belly button pulled in. Inhale to sit up, exhale to roll down. Okay, so you decide which of those is appropriate for you, or if those are easy and you want to challenge yourself, grab a weight. This is a 5-pound weight. Inhale, exhale to roll up. Again, do that with bent knees if it's too hard to get up with straight legs. Spine stretch forward. Inhale to sit up, reset those shoulders. Exhale to roll back down. Inhale, exhale to roll up. Especially when you're using the weight, your arms really aren't moving around a whole lot because this is weight on your shoulders, so I don't want you kind of moving them around. They stay pretty steady, as you notice. They don't go over my head. They just go straight up. Inhale, exhale. They don't drop down. They reach forward, staying parallel to the floor. Inhale, exhale. And if you find that you're falling back, if you find that your legs are kicking up off the mat, if you find you're going back with a flat back, bend your knees, work on your form, build your way up. There's no point in doing something with poor form where you're either going to hurt yourself or you're just not going to get the value of it. Exhale, really stretch forward. Remember, you're getting a back stretch here. Inhale, exhale, see how slowly you can roll down. And then wherever you are, go ahead and do one more. And eventually work your way down. See if that can be your slowest decline all the way down to the mat. All right. There you go. You have a little break for your glutes. Now we're going to do one more glute thing. I do this one a lot. It's a good one. Come over onto your sides, plus we can do some other things in between. If you've got the band, you can keep the band on. Knees are out from hips. Feet are stacked. If you don't have a band, you alternatively could put a weight on your hip and use that. All right? So it's just clamshells. We're just opening the knee and back in. So very similar to what we were doing when we were on our backs. But now we're just isolating one side at a time. And again, see if you can get that little pause at the top. This will also work the flexibility of your inner thighs and your hips. So it's sort of double duty, which is pretty much everything we do in Yogatōn is double duty. This is meant to be a very efficient 30 minutes. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, my favorite one-arm side push-ups. Wrap the bottom arm around your waist, bring the top arm right next to your shoulder, and tricep push-up for 10, 9, 8, 7. Use the exhale to get up. If you can only do 5, these are really challenging. If you can only do 1, that's fine. Do what you can do. They're really targeting this floppy bit of our tricep. Last one. Good. All right, come on over into a plank position. Again, if you've got the band, leave it on. We're going to do forearm planks. Coming up on toes and forearms, squeezing the glutes, trying to make sure you're parallel. We don't want to drop hips. We don't want to push bums up in the air. Belly button in. We're going to step out. So it's going to be a pattern. We're going to step out right. What did I want to do? What was I thinking? Back in with right, left out, left in. That's not what I wanted to do. We're going to do that again. It's right out, right in, left in. Then we go the other direction. We go left out, left in, right in. That's what I wanted to do. Step out with the right, out, step out with the left, right, left. Switch, left, right, right. Switch to the right, left, right, left. Last time, left, right, right. Drop both knees down, press up. Drop down and squeeze. Drop down, squeeze up. So your torso stays steady. Only thing moving is your knees. 3, 2, last one. Good, we're gonna come the other side. I just don't wanna put my back to you, so I'm just gonna come over other side of my mat. You can always just roll over. Clamshells, knees out from hips, feet are stacked, and we open up and down. Press up and hold. So this side's a lot harder for me because of the sort of machinations of my hips and my spine, and I have a really hard time pressing this open. As you can see, I don't have nearly the movement on this side because this side's not as strong. 5, a lot of people have differences one side to the other. Might happen to be more pronounced, but often we find we can balance more on one side than the other. 3. I'm really doing badly at counting today. 2. And 1. It's Friday. I don't get to count. I think I've been watching too much election coverage. I can't count. Okay, bring your bottom arm, wrap it around you, top arm right by your shoulder, and press up for 10. We will count these because I don't want you to die if we do too many of these. They're killers. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Excellent. All right. If you're using band, you can still keep it on, but we're going to come to standing, so just be careful. All right. So first thing, again, the first thing we're going to do is in Utkatasana chair pose. You could actually put a ball between your legs and squeeze in rather than pressing out. I am going to take 5-pound weights. You could use your lighter weights for this as well. We're going to use the lighter weights for the last thing, so you decide if you just don't want to switch it up. All right. We're going to drop down into Utkatasana. Knees are coming over ankles. Belly button is pulling in. And we're going to do tricep kickbacks. All right? So nothing more than 5 pounds, I don't think, for anybody. And definitely, you might find that you need something lighter, which is absolutely fine. So note that it's just hinging from the elbows. Your shoulders are not moving. You're kicking back from the elbows. Make sure you're sitting back, weight in your heels, that you're not tracking out over your toes. Sitting nice and low, chest somewhat lifted. But that hinge forward is helping us with our kick back, so you're definitely not standing straight up. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, turn the palms up and little pulses up. Up, up. Squeezing the shoulder blades together, sitting back in the heels, pushing the hips back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And coming up to standing. All right. Go ahead and put those weights down or keep them. I'm just switching to lighter weights. Okay, so these are my 3-pound weights. I'm going to keep the band around my thigh. I'm going to bring the hands here to our chest. So this is going to be a step out with our leg and also a move out with our arm. I'm starting with the legs a little bit apart, a little bit wider than they just were in chair posture. I'm going to go ahead and sit down, push out with the thighs. So you're sitting low, knees are over ankles. We're going to step out and the arm comes out and then back in and then the other side. Opposite arm, opposite leg. This looks very like sumo wrestler to me. I don't know what it actually would be called. So you want to stay pretty low. If you need to come up as you step out, that's fine, and then see if you could just come back down. But again, I want you to build muscle around your knees. I don't want you to hurt your knees. So make sure you're sitting back in your heels, belly button is pulling in, you're using the muscles, not the joints. These lateral moves are really excellent. I was actually given something very similar to this for my PT for the exact reason of working on chronic knee issues. Because you want to get those lateral, it's the gluteus minoris, a whole bunch of muscles in that sort of hip area. Let's do 3 more each side, shall we? I have no idea how many that will be. 2 more each side. Last one. Good. Coming back to center, sitting back in the heels, belly button pulling in. We're going to bring the arms out and back into the chest. So again, it's still swinging. Swinging is not the right word, but like it's swinging. This is very pendulum-like. Moving with that elbow joint, working the triceps. Out, pull that belly in. Watch that low back. If your low back arches, you're going to be in a world of hurt. I don't want that. 3, 2, the last one, and stand back up. How are those glutes feeling now? All right, I'm going to put these weights down. Grab either your heavier weights or your medium weights. So I'm taking 10 pounds. You can take either one. Again, we're always just slightly wider than hip distance, so we're having to work and press out a little bit. Weights are in our hands, palms facing back. We're going to bend down from the hip, so we come to that sort of Uttanasana position. Squeeze the glutes and the abs to press back up. Hinging forward from the hips, arms are just hanging and pulling back up. Nice and slow, and let your head just stay in line with your spine. So you don't want to keep looking in front of you, because if you did that, you put your neck in not a great position. Keep your head in neutral. So you're looking forward, slightly in front of you, and straight down. Exhale. Make sure you're still pressing out with those thighs against the band so your knees aren't knocking together. Legs are just ever so slightly bent. It's just like a micro bend, just so they're not locked. And then at the top, it's a little squeeze. Let's do 5 more. And 4. 3. 2. Last one, hinge forward and stay hinged forward. Pull that belly button in, and now we're going to row up and down. Be aware of your back on this. If you're using too heavy a weight and it's hurting your low back, switch to a lower weight. Squeezing up and up. And 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, let them down, bend the knees, bring the weights down to the mat, and then just fold over here just to release that low back. In case you're feeling anything there, maybe grab opposite elbows, shake it out, bend the knees, drop the hips, roll up, and restack your spine. Good. All right, I think we can safely take off this resistance band. I don't think we're going to use it again. Okay, so I'm going to take my 2 5-pound weights. You could do lighter. Probably don't want to do heavier. So I often like to combine balance with these moves because it works our core, and also balance is a key part of yoga. So we're just going to do some simple balance, and we're going to add arms to it. All right, so I'm going to lift the left leg. We've done this before. I like to keep it relatively simple. I've got the left arm next to it. I'm bringing the right arm overhead for tricep extensions here. So we're going to lift that arm up. Again, we're just moving from the elbow. Bend up. Good. We're just going to do 10 of these. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, bring it down, keep balancing. We're just going to switch to bicep curls, and we're going to curl up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, nice and stable, challenging the core with this balance, 2, last one, good. Bring the hands to the heart, hands at heart center, and just kick out, and see if you can keep that balance. Kick it. 6, 5, 4, 3, you're just flicking something away, and 1, and place that foot down. Switching sides, so I'm going to balance on my left. Balance on my left, bringing my right arm by my side, lifting that right leg up. Left arm comes overhead, 10 triceps. Tricep extensions. Finding a point to focus on in front of you to keep your balance. 5 more. 3 more. Last one. Everything stays the same except that left arm comes down by your side. Bicep curl. So it's full extension here, all the way down, all the way to the shoulder, while the other one is being held at that 90-degree bend. Isotonic and isometric at the same time. 5 more. 3, 2, last one. Bringing the hands to the heart, flick it away. 10, kick it away. So my knee doesn't really move, body hopefully doesn't move a whole lot, just extending out. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Place it down, shake it out. All right, I'm going to switch one more time to my lighter weights. Nothing more than 3 pounds probably for this one. Separating our legs, we're going to come down into pretty close to goddess pose. So knees are pointed out over the toes, over the ankles, zipping up through here. Bringing the hands to heart. Actually, this is going to be a guard position. We're going to drop down into our goddess. So you're sitting back, weight is in the heels, you can wiggle your toes, chest is lifted. This is probably the least yoga-like thing that we do, but we're in goddess. So we're doing peace punches. That's what I'm going to call these, because I don't like to think about doing anything violent. But we're going to come across and come across. So it's a punch. This can definitely be done without any weights, because I don't want you to hurt your joints. If you're not familiar with it, if you feel like your arms aren't strong enough, put the weights down. We are getting our obliques and our core here. We are also working arms and chest and shoulders and glutes, all kinds of things going on. And the weights are just extra credit. So it's a little bit across. So you can do a little bit, a tiny bit of a twist is in there. And it's just one side and the other. And you can add some breathing, especially if there's some frustration. You can do as you punch out. Add a little energy to it. Otherwise, just keep breathing. A few more seconds. Sitting low. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release that. Fold over, place those weights on the floor, let your head hang. Lunge side to side, bend one knee, bending the other knee. Come back to center, pivot your whole body over one leg, so you're just folded over, giving yourself a stretch like a modified pyramid. Taking a couple breaths. Coming back through center, over to the other side, hanging over that leg. Stretching that hamstring. And coming back to center, grabbing hold of ankles or toes, pulling your body downwards. Taking a couple of breaths here, nice straight legs. Feeling that stretch all the way to the glutes. Bending the knees, rolling yourself all the way up. Walk those feet in, heel toe, heel toe. Big inhale up. Interlace the fingers, bending over to one side. And up through center, over to the other side. Back through center. Bring the hands to shoulders and just roll the shoulders forwards a couple of times. And backwards a couple of times. And shake it out. And you're done.